Ryan Fullen here with the Office of the Vice Provost of Teaching and Learning. We just completed another social media brunch hosted by UCI Nursing Science. We talked about productivity hacks, we talked about what to do with data, and we talked about how to run social media contests. It was great as always. We're here to share the best practices with everyone, so don't believe us, believe what people had to say about it.
How's it going? I'm Percival. I work at the Writing Center as full-time staff. I just finished going through this social media brunch with Ryan, and I love going to these because Ryan walks the walk and talks the talk, which means everything he says, you get to put it into practice. The whole idea of, here's a template, fill it with stuff. All right, here's the template I'm gonna give you. What's the stuff that you guys got? Let's practice that, let's use it. Each week we're gonna build on more topics, and it's always gonna be stuff you could use.
Hi, I'm Jessica Arnaldo from the Alumni Association here at UCI, and I just attended the social media brunch with Ryan. And it was really awesome. This is about my third time coming, and each time I leave with more tips, more tricks, and I feel more confident in dealing with social media. Whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, even new things that all the cool young people are doing. This helps keep me hip, this helps keep me current, but also it helps me focus on my mission. So thank you so much, Ryan and the team, and I can't wait for the next one.
It's always fun to help people learn more, and everyone learns from everyone. If you're interested in hosting the next social media brunch, you can. All you need to do is provide the space and the brunch, and we provide the content based on what you need help with. Welcome to the social media brunch, where we are going to discover 3 amazing topics that hopefully will help you feel more confident in running social media contests, in knowing what to do when it comes to the data that you gather, and another topic that we will cover, which I can't recall off the top of my head, but it's on the slide. People ask me all the time, what is the magic ticket for social media? And I say there is no magic ticket, but the one thing you can do to secure that you get a ticket is to be consistent. And above all else, I see more social media strategy fail because it's not consistent. Today at the social media brunch, I'm excited because we're going to teach you tools that you can physically use out there to be more effective at engaging, more effective at using your time, and more effective when it comes to using data that you already have. But before we jump into it, I wanted to let you know that we are being hosted by the UCI Nursing Center, and it is because of them that you might have felt a little lost or disoriented on this side of the campus. But Michelle, come on up, big round of applause. I'd like her to just say a word or two about the Nursing Center, and maybe that we should have a checkup and what shots we should be having.
Okay, well, okay. I'm not a clinician, so I won't give you any advice on that side. But basically, for a lot of the reasons you all brought up, we really wanted Ryan to come out and give us some good advice on being consistent, developing a strategy for reaching our students, our alumni, and just sending out information on our new programs and our new degrees. And the last social media brunch we went to, or I attended at the Alumni Center, was just like mind-blowing. So had ideas for what would be, wanted to learn more, so we reached out to Ryan, and yes, he came over here to Burke Hall, and I know we're a little hard to find, so welcome to Burke Hall. There's a lot of life over here on this planet. A lot of students. We have a full hospital bed unit, exam rooms all in here, and we teach our entry-level nurses, advanced practice nurses. So anyway, welcome. I hope we can all learn together from Ryan. I know he's put together, or I'm sure he's put together. Great.
We'll just assume. All right, well, thank you, Michelle, and the crew. I am your server today, and I will be telling you a few times we're going to be covering social media contests, small team, big results, and effectively utilizing data. Who here has not heard of the Office of the Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning? Yes. Awareness, we understand. Now, because everyone knows this, we have a treat for you. So you get one of 2 things here. You get a pen and a business card. Give a golf clap so this is not so awkward. All right, there's plenty more pens, so if you do need to take one for a friend, that's okay. We are an umbrella that helps to service the Division of Undergraduate Education, the Division of Teaching and Learning, and summer school, summer session. So we're here to help provide support to all of those. One thing that you can get involved with, we're always looking for stories. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out, so if you have a story that you want to cross-pollinate to faculty and staff, Let us know, and I'll be talking about that today, how there's partnerships. We're here to partner with you and to help support. If it's an event, we always showcase events as well. That's something that we're looking for. We create resources. We're working on 9 to 10 short 2 to 3 minute videos for each of the major platforms, produced by the one, the only, the great UCI Media. Those are coming, and if you do want an in-person strategy meeting, we have fun with a whiteboard, and we figure out what you're having issues with, and then we try to tackle those problems. If you guys ever need a video production, it used to be UCI Media Services, and now it's UCI Media. They've got great live streaming, they've got great high production, they've got great tools for you to take the brain damage out of the video production. After you speak, I always think that you should get feedback. So as a heads up, within 30 minutes of this meeting, I'll put a very quick survey in your inbox, and I'd appreciate if you spend the 2 seconds to fill it out. And because we want to have a very low threshold of learning here, I want to teach everybody how to count. So tell me here all together, this is how we count. 1, 2, 3, many. Whoever said 4, you're incorrect. Because we count 1, 2, 3, many. And as a general term, as a general sense, try to keep things to 3. With that being said, here are our 3 topics. Social media contests, big team, small team, big results, and effectively utilizing data. How to. We're going to cover Facebook, we're going to cover Twitter, and we're going to cover Instagram. Before I get going, I had great advice from somebody at this massive social media conference, and she said, you're going to learn all kinds of things. Your head is going to spin, and you are going to want to go out there and do absolutely everything. And when you try to do that, you will get absolutely nothing done. So my goal for you is to, of all the things we're going to talk about, choose 3 of them that sound interesting, that might work for you, just 3. And then go back to your staff and go back to your coworkers, and then of those 3, choose 1. And then just try to start with that one. That's how you start to learn. You cannot overwhelm yourself in this process. And each month, we'll come up with 3 new topics so you can continue to learn, but don't feel pressure to run super fast. Choose 3, and then actually do 1. It avoids what a lot of you might have, which is something I call the sorta disorder. Do we have any nurses in here? Nurses? No nurses. This is not clinically proven, but I say it out loud, so to some extent it's true. When you have multiple things going on, and I ask you, well, how's that project going? And you say, it's sort of done. Well, what about that post? Did you do it yet? Sorta. Well, how about that bio? Sorta. What about those images? Sorta. If you try to do too many things, you will end up with a sorta disorder, and you will not get anything done. So just try to focus on 1. There's no magic tricks when it comes to social media. It's just about getting things done. Facebook contests. Here are the steps that you would want to go through. How many people here have ever done a Facebook contest? Okay. How many people would be interested in doing a Facebook contest? Okay. Review Facebook terms. They're always updating, but it is valuable to actually know what you're getting into so that you don't get anything red flagged or anything that's weird. You come up with a SMART goal. This is something that's measurable, that's attainable. Don't just say, well, we just want to get lots of people. No. How many people are your target? What are you trying to get them to do? What does a conversion look like? If they just post a hashtag, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. You have to have goals in mind with it. The contest type, which we'll talk about in a minute, there are softwares that can help you out, and we'll share that with you. It takes all the brain damage out of it. There is a time frame. You don't want to run it too long. You don't want to run it too short. There are always rules that you get to set, and you just have to be clear. You get a prize that's exciting, and then you want to use a hashtag. Here's the UCI Nursing Center. They ran a contest, and it says, let us know why you love UCI Nursing for a chance to win a Fitbit. Hashtag love UCI Nursing, hashtag Irvine, hashtag UCI, all this different stuff. So they're using a hashtag like this. Does anybody not know what a hashtag is? It's okay. Yes. Yes.
I heard a little bit. I heard that you put a hashtag and then, so I'm like the total beginner. So
Okay. So let me help you. Do you know what a manila folder is? Like a manila folder that you do the Zotmail and stuff with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine we have a manila folder and that is somewhere floating virtually. If you wanted to see information on a certain topic that you know is somewhere out on the internet, but you want to find it in one location, you would use the symbol hashtag and a corresponding word or phrase, that would put you to this manila folder. And in the manila folder, some virtual assistant scours the internet, and anytime somebody uses this and a certain word, they're sitting there frantically organizing, putting them all in different manila folders. So there's a manila folder virtually out there that has written hashtag love UCI Nursing on the front of it. And if you peek inside of it, you can see all the different people that actually used it or put it out there on the web. It's a way to search based on a filter. So if you were to go to...
So when you Google, do you have to put the hashtag in?
Okay, so if you Googled a hashtag, Google's going to pull it from wherever it sees it. But if you go to Twitter and search a hashtag UCI Pride, it's going to pull up all of the tweets that use it. If you go to Instagram and you use hashtag UCI, then you're going to get all of the relevant searches in that manila folder. It could be picked up by Google because the tweet would include it, but sometimes you would go specifically towards the platform to search what's going on. Now let's say that you're into politics. You could go on Twitter and search hashtag politics, and boom, Twitter will throw up on you with millions of different posts. If you wanted to use hashtag first-gen UCI, you could then find stories or articles or tweets or posts about specifically that. So what you're doing is you're saying, we have a contest, here's a manila folder, I want you to put your entry in. But by doing that, just go to your own computer or your own phone and use this hashtag, and then we can pull it. Does that make sense? If you want to create attention to your posts, you can use the hashtags. And Instagram is a very hashtag-heavy platform. You can use up to 30 hashtags, and I encourage you to do that sometimes. Twitter is a little bit less hashtag-y because you only have 140 characters, so I wouldn't suggest using more than 3 hashtags. But even in a conversation, you could say, this is so hashtag exciting that I'm doing this right now. So anybody that's looking for something exciting will find it in that manila folder. Okay? It's a great question. And sometimes it's just good to hear it out loud. And in this world, there's so many new terms and so many things. Don't be afraid to ask. And if you are afraid, just Google. There's a computer in front of you. So time frame, eligibility, how the winner is going to be selected, what are the rules? These are things you want to make clear. It's just like any kind of contest. When you're running a social media contest, think about running it for a classroom that you see everybody. Like, how would you communicate to that? Hey guys, this is going to run from now until the end of the month, the time frame. Here's the prize you're going to win. Here's a visualization. Here's what you need to do very clearly. So let's see if this makes sense. Rules. Keep your account public between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. on November 1st so we can review your post. What's fancy about that? Are all social media profiles public? No. And if you have a private profile and you use UCI, love UCI Nursing, then that manila folder is hidden behind a little wall. So if you want to participate in the contest, you simply would just let your profile be public for that short amount of time when people can search. That's something to think about. Because otherwise, it's not fair, because I'm private and you're not able to find my entry. Oh, let's go back. Again, per Instagram, Facebook rules, we must mention this is no way sponsored, administrated, or associated with Facebook or Instagram. This is very important. The one caveat you should have in there is just to say this contest is not associated with the platform it's on. And that's, if anything, that's the one thing that will get you in trouble. If you're saying, Facebook is sponsoring this competition, no, they're not. They don't want anything to do with it. So from a very baseline, time frame, prize, direction, and just say this is not sponsored by Facebook or Instagram. Yes?
Just a quick question. Are you going to send the PowerPoint?
Yeah, you guys will have access to the PowerPoint as well as 3 hefty resources. The resource we built off of the contest alone is 13 pages. I know. But that's why we're giving the high level, and you can dig into the ones that you want. Pick a relevant prize. Look at this. This is a great looking graphic. It's very clear. How many steps? 3 steps. That's good, right? You can see it's a Fitbit. 3 steps, very clear. Very easy to determine what's going on here. Now, they might or might not have had as much success with it as they wanted, but in looking at the contest, it was their second post. So to some extent, the more successful your contest is relative to sort of the people that you're engaged with. So don't start your social media strategy with a contest. You want to build relationships with people and you can sort of find out what they might be interested in, and then you can run something that's either seasonal or a certain contest around it. Also, nobody wants to be the first person to jump in the water, okay? And that's very true. So if you have a staff of 10 people, and this is a campus-wide operation, get your 10 people to get on the computer, stand over and go, are you going to enter the contest? Are you going to enter the contest? Are you sure you're not going to enter the contest? Here, let me help you out. Let's enter the contest. You got to feed the engine a little bit. Because if I go search for the manila folder with hashtag love UCI nursing and nobody's done it, the internet comes back with a bunch of cricket noise, you're going to sort of back away from it. So before you start a contest, maybe have this inside circle of 10 or 15 people. They might all have a couple hundred friends. There's this exposure of thousands of people. You just can't expect people to find it on their own. Okay, so juice it. Questions about that? We had some good questions. And again, there's a lot more information in depth in the resources. Yes?
I think you brought up a good point. We thought by doing a contest it would bring attraction of other, our target market to our site, but we didn't have any followers or any friends on these different platforms. So yeah, now we're trying to get the word out of this contest.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, is there a sound? Same thing with social media contests. But you could get traction early. You could start with a contest. Who knows? Is a Fitbit enough to get people excited? Yes or no, right? If it was $5 million, yes. So again, you're looking at these different incentivizing things, right? Everybody's like laughing, but they're ready to enter right now.
Who wants a Fitbit?
Okay, now here's something. Again, you can only know how much you know. You have to ask other questions. So how many people here would be motivated to go and do a post on Instagram or Facebook with the thought that you might win a Fitbit? Raise your hand if you would enter. Okay, so you got like maybe 2/3 of the room, right? But people are also kind of doing this because they felt awkward. It wasn't like, yes, I'll take the $5 million. So think about that. You might want to go out there and say, if we were to run a contest, ask 10 or 12 of your favorite students that come in all the time and say, if you were to win a Fitbit or a $50 gift card or an Amazon something, what would you like? And you can start to ask. Don't ever assume you know anything because unfortunately we work at a college, we're not in college. Instagram contests, and a lot of this can be transferable, but specifically with Instagram, here's another sample of a very nice laid out. Now, how can you design something like this if you have no design skills whatsoever? Canva. Everybody say Canva. If you don't know about it, it's a very brilliant free tool that you can make something look just like this. It's free and it's easy. How many people since coming to these meetings have played with Canva?
It's really easy.
It's really easy. Literally, you take a picture, you upload it, you can drop. It's almost like an easy PowerPoint to create with one slide. Two primary ones, like to win contests and hashtag/user generated content. The pros of a like to win, which is basically like our page and you're entered to win. Follow me on Instagram and you're entered to win. There's a very low threshold. And so it's very easy to enter, it's very easy to create, and it increases your Instagram reach because more people are sort of, oh, that puts me over the fence. The cons, participants are not that invested in your brand or what you're doing. There's a very kind of like, what, you just want me to like you because I want a Fitbit? Like, there's no emotional tie with that. You're just fishing for likes. I know what you're doing, okay? But something that's a hashtag user-generated contest, maybe instead of UCI Love Nursing, you could have played off of the breast cancer awareness. And then you could have said, like, talked about the story of how this is an important issue, everything could be branded pink, everybody's in that mode, and then you could win a design or we're going to take a Fitbit and it's going to be pink or something like that, right? The pros are there's a better connection between the students or your departments. It increases the campaign reach because if it's something that I post a hashtag or with a post, guess what? It goes to all of my friends, it's in my feed. So you get more exposure. If I just go like you, there might be a little indication saying this person just liked this person, but it's not as relevant as somebody taking and doing it. Also, creation of authentic images. Sometimes you can say, take a selfie and use the hashtag FirstGenUCI. We did that during week 0, and it was great. The faculty that were first gen had a t-shirt on, students would go find them, take a selfie with it, post it, and then we can use Storify to gather all those posts into one, and then UCI Strategic Communication shares one link that has everybody and all their pictures under one spot. So it's a little bit more work from an entry level for people to do it, because the cons are there's a requirement increased, and sometimes hashtag too long of a hashtag lowers participant entry. You want to be concise. You want to be unique. You want to search a hashtag before you use it. It might be used for something that you don't want to be associated with. Okay? Questions on this? There's really one or the other. So what you guys did was this user generation, and that was a challenge. So maybe you could have started with a, hey, get a Fitbit if you like it. Maybe that would have been a good entry point or something like that. And here is your post. Again, this is what it looks like. We've got 6 likes, which is better than 5 likes. Okay? But again, this is a matter of don't be fearful of public failure, right? Learn everything you can from getting out there. Nobody is going to hold you accountable and be like, meh. They might just ignore it. And then the next time it comes out, maybe there's 10 or 15 likes, and you'll sort of start to build. And there are people on campus that have things that are continuous, right? Like the Writing Center has a Black Lives Matter. And in this image, look at some of the stuff, right? You've got an attention-grabbing title. You've got visually appearing graphics, and you could run it through an app, but they've done this for multiple years. And they didn't get very many submissions the first year. And then they got more, and they get more, and they get more. So this whole process of starting somewhere. Okay, let's go back. Here's how to plan it. Write your goals. Who is your target market? Let's not forget that. Please don't forget that. Too many times you're trying to go to everybody. And if you've heard me before say there's 2 words you should never say. The A word and the E word. This is for everyone, or this is for anyone. Because as soon as you do that, nobody feels special. If you say, sorry, this is only for freshmen who live in Middle Earth, why not me? Why not me? So there's value in exclusivity. Choose the type and the theme. What's your prize? $5 million will work really well. What social platforms other than Instagram? And if you do need a third party, there's this app or a website platform. You get a 7-day free trial. So it's free if you want to do a contest in 7 days. But they'll get you. And this steps you through the whole process. It's a Canva of contests. And if you have a budget, again, from a budgetary standpoint, spending a couple dollars on a service that does all the brain damage might save you a lot of time and resources of creating the strategy, creating the structure, doing all that. I always endorse a free model because that's how you learn. Okay, to launch and promote. These are somewhat obvious things, but it's just good to reiterate. Spread the word to your audience verbally, I would say. Update your website or blog, post about the contest, use direct links, cross-promote to other sites, use Facebook ads, reach out to departments with newsletters. I mean, how cool would that be if engineering featured your contest and you had a little bit of a spin to, it's like you tie in the word engineering a new future or something, right? You get them to feel like it's there. There you go. So biomedical engineering will be a great partnership, and maybe you combine because maybe they have a Knitbit and you have a Fitbit, and now the prize is better and you have a larger audience. So there are ways to collaborate. Follow up after the contest. Don't forget to choose the winner and share it on Instagram. At the Entrepreneur Center, we would have contests, and then what we would do is we would get the video camera out, we would bring out the phone, we would dial in the number, and like a radio show, we would have the person on the phone being like, what? Yeah, I won it. And it's just a funny thing. And then we brought them in. We had them jump on a trampoline while we dumped all of the forms over them. And we got these killer shots of people going, yes, with like all the entry forms, and they're holding on to an Xbox, and it's exciting. Because if people think that they get it at Fitbit, but they don't hear anything if they got it, you know, man. So maybe the person with the Fitbit, you spend and you go to a healthy lunch and you get them a free yoga thing, and it's like more than that, and it's an experience, and then she won and she shares. So there's a lot that happens after the contest. Questions on Facebook and Instagram? Yes?
Are there better and worse ways to randomly pick a winner?
There's actually a website that you can do that. If you have data and numbers, you can put it into this website as a spreadsheet. It's free, and then it actually has like a spinning wheel. It goes like there's different formats. Mm-hmm. But you can also just be super random. Like you can say this person, right? And it's better if you have a student or somebody that's not associated with you whatsoever, because then when you pick yourself, they're going to be like, you're cheating. You're like, no, it was random. I wanted a Fitbit. I entered. Okay.
Real quick, Brian.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we used Facebook ads for our fair last week, use the pizza budget that you talked about.
Cool.
So just if you are running a contest, doing the Facebook.
You can
ads,
promote through Facebook. And that was right here. So I talk about the pizza budget. How much would your department be willing to spend to feed pizza to students when they come to your office? And it's usually 30, 40, 50 bucks, right? And then if you have 30, 40 people, it can be like 300. So whatever your normal pizza budget is, if you invest that into a Facebook ad campaign, you can feed a lot more virtual pizza than you think. So thank you for that. Twitter. Now I've just got one slide on this because a lot of it is incorporating some of the same concepts. But with Twitter, here is sort of elements of a successful Twitter campaign. Schedule contest teaser tweets in advance. You let them know this is going to come up, this is happening, get ready for the contest, build some sort of momentum. Include a visual image, which I believe you know by now. Choose a singular, clear action and best results. The Twitter competitions that fail are just, they have more than one solid sort of call to action. Remember, tweeters are very like short attention span. They just want to like see it, know it, read it, and get on with it. Post clear terms and conditions, follow the guidelines from Twitter if you don't know where to start, and announce the winners and thank everybody as well. Twitter can be a nice, fun, viral spot. And again, you can juice it because if something goes out and everybody knows it's happening, then your internal support team, a student comes in the office and say, hey, have you liked or shared our contest? What? Are you on our Facebook? No? Let's start there. So there's a big offline strategy to this. Don't just put a contest out in the wind and then think that birds will fly. All right. So does that make sense? Is anybody here motivated to maybe try a contest at some point? Okay, good. We only lost a few people. Yes, question.
For the call to action for Twitter, one of the things that I'm having a challenge with is how we put that call to action. Would you put like the caption, link, image? Would that be like an optimal setup for that? Or what would?
So the question is, how do you keep it to a clear message? Images are going to be the best way you can do that. You can have up to 4 images on Twitter. You can also tag up to 10 people if you have a photo. So if you have very clear Canva graphics that are showing either the rules and regulations or what the call to action is, the first picture you upload usually is the biggest to also know. And then tag 10 other departments that might be excited about sharing that. And there's no harm in tagging. I call it a Tom tag. A Tom tag is top of mind. You're never going to irritate me if you tag me, because it just means that I'm top of mind on that topic, and you're helping me to help you. So having images and then tagging 10 people would help to get the message out there. But being very clear, having a short hashtag, win blank by doing blank. Enter here, or just do that. If you're trying to drive people to a website that then has the information, you can do that too, but maybe use an emojicon and a pointing and a money and stuff like that just to make it more visually engaging. Good? Yes?
I have another question on contests. Are there any campus regulations that we need to know about when running Facebook or any other social media content?
I'd have to get back to you on that, and I can check with Tanya. That's a great question. The question was, is there any regulations from UCI? And Tanya's answer usually is always be cautious, be respectful of people's privacy, and follow your mission. So if you're running a contest that has nothing to do with what you're doing, I would think that would maybe be a disconnect, right? But there's a nice way to tie it in if you bring in different departments, right? UCI Nursing could partner with BioSci, could also partner with the Entrepreneur Center. And here's the thing, if somebody comes to you and says, I've got this great contest, I've already got the prize, I've already got the images, I've got the graphics, and I have a spot for your logo right here. Are you interested in partnering with this? Well, what do you mean? What do I have to do? Nothing. Nothing at all. Just put us in your newsletter, put us in your on your website. Maybe here's suggested tweets that you can send out on the days, right? Here's a Facebook post with the link. So you mean you've done all of the work for me. I'm going to halo into the effect. People are going to get excited, and I can win a Fitbit? Sold. So again, this idea, don't think you have to go at it alone, and then you can join forces and cross-pollinate. Fail miserably at it, learn, and then retry. But think about maybe what is like the study abroad. Maybe there's a national study abroad day, or maybe there's a national nursing day, or something that you can parlay off of that already has heightened emotions, and then you can piggyback off of that traction. And it's kind of fun if you're talking with a student that comes in, like what's going on? Hey, did you hear about our contest that's coming up next month? What do you mean? Well, And it just is an offline conversation starter as well. Have a computer dedicated in your office that always has it pulled up and say, hey, all you have to do is go in there, log in, and click. Make it easy for them. Okay. How to navigate social media with limited resources. We all know it takes a lot of time, but you can use your time more effectively. And the fact is that when you have a larger team, each individual is responsible for a smaller amount of the project. And when you have a smaller team, people are more responsible and they actually do more work because they feel responsible for the results. So if you think about it psychologically, a smaller team can get a lot more done than a larger team because you're not relying on very many people. So if you flip it from discouragement to encouragement, that might be my quote for the day. By the way, I do an Instagram drawing every day. Ian inspired mine from yesterday because I was in traffic and he said, don't fear the traffic, be the traffic. And that's true, right? So the same concept is like, don't fear the work, be the work and own it and get excited about it. So as a one main takeaway that is glaring out there, the larger team, like let's say I get you 14 social media hands to work on your social media content, you're going to be a mess. You're not going to be, like, it'll be more time to manage a larger team sometimes. So I want you to feel empowered with a smaller team in this respect. Delegation back there, she's like, yes, this is great. And I want to get back to this, a small team. How many people here have student workers that work for them in some capacity? How many people are not utilizing those workers as effectively as they could? I know you don't want to admit it, but it's all there. So many times I walk into an office and I'll be like, how busy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And they'll go, huh? And then I go and I walk and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm talking with somebody, so we could have, watch this. Can you come here for a second? Huh? Come in here. Can you help me with this? Sure. They want to be tasked. And so I like to think that a work study should be working. So when I say small team, like these are you and your assistant director or just you. Like you can be the small team and then you can help to delegate. How do I use this? First of all, know your market and your focus goals. So many people assign useless tasks or like, let's do a contest or let's do this. Well, who are we trying to target and what are we trying to do? And so many people skip that step. If you actually focus on that it's not for everyone, it's not for anyone, but it's for these specific people and you want them to do a specific thing, that's what's going to help to do less work. Then there's other things we're going to talk about, like a content calendar, which I came up with a Post-it note hack for everybody. I'm inspired by Post-it notes, and you will be too. Prioritizing, and there's my Post-it note T-charts. So here's the problem. The thought of creating content each day is frustrating. If you don't know what to post, you'll be constantly creating content without any motives or goals in mind. And I came up with this. That is frustratingly frustrating. Solution is to think about preparing your content in advance. That is the one major hack. There's nothing more stressful than being like, oh my gosh, we haven't posted in 30 days. Shoot, let's do this. Oh, wait, it's midterms. We can't. It's just chaos. So there's a little bit of advanced warning in your own brain, and you will feel good about it. What goes in your content calendar? Your content. And when I say content calendar, we talked about this a few times ago, but I want to break it down into something that's very, very simple. So here is, I'm just going to pass these around. If you haven't seen a Post-it note, this is what they look like. So feel free to take one or two based on your color. This is just pass them along. You can have this one, and then maybe there's a row for you guys, and there's a row for you guys. Oh, that made it. You ready? Okay, and you had yours there, but here, we'll pass that down there. So take a Post-it note, and take a few. Take 3 or 4 if you want, because I want you to see how easy this is. Step 1, create Post-it notes for your content. So right now, just write down, like, if you have a blog, maybe it's a blog. If you want to make a video, maybe it's a video. If you want to do a contest, just write contest on it, whatever that may be, okay? I sometimes will use Post-it notes and sit there and do like a 5-minute sprint or like a 2-minute sprint and go, okay, ready? I use a Sharpie marker and I go, this. Like you can bust out a lot of Post-it notes. And the trick is by putting them on paper, you now can actually see. Step 2 is you put them up onto the whiteboard. Did you guys steal all of them? Who wrote something down? Okay, here we go. Put them up onto the board in no particular order. Oh, look at this one. That one's good. Here we go. Actually, I'm seeing something here. So take the Post-it notes that you have your content and then put them up on a smiley face on the board, because this is a process that's not too difficult to do. And then what you do is, I like whiteboards, and I'll literally do this. I'll go, okay, I like to look at things in 2-week periods. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Saying this is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What days are typically the worst days to post on? So, okay, it's whatever you think. Okay, so there's an easy elimination process. Wait a minute, midterms are right here. Okay, let's do just a little bit of pre-thought, right? So how about we do a faculty feature on Tuesday? How about we do a video next Tuesday? Let's focus on just these, okay? Here's the trick. The person that's behind the desk, ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how busy are you right now? If they say anything less than 10, you can at least assign 1 task. Psychologically, I ask this question all the time. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close is this to being done? Oh, it's a 7. So what are the 3 things that we still need to do to finish this? And they'll be like this, this, and this. It's a weird psychological thing. So identify if your student worker has time, and they always do. And you say, would you do me a favor, Jenny? And I'm going to give this to you, bring it in my office so you see what's happening here. Jenny, could you contact Professor Hujimawat and see if he can schedule an interview and see if you can convince him to talk about that new type of thing that he's doing? Yes. Well, search his email. Go find it. Go find that. Okay. I'm done. Let's see, Johnny comes in the next day and says, hey, Johnny, I know you're good with video. What do you think about a project? How about you do that? Now, when Johnny gets done with it, because he's really fast, he's done, he gets it back. Guess what he gets to do? He gets to come back in, put it up on the board, and do this. I'm not trying to be silly here. I do this all the time, and this is the easiest. I see whiteboards underutilized all the time. It's not about how many posts you post. It's about being consistent with it. And things like a video feature. Here's an easy one. Share somebody else's thing. Go find an article about a UCI professor and share that. Prioritizing. What is the most important thing? Let's say that you get excited and you're like, you know what? We're going to not only do a video on that day, but we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, because we're crushing it, man. We went to the social media brunch. We know how to do everything now. Oh my gosh, though, something came up, a fire, things happen. What am I going to do? I can't do all of that, so let's just focus on the most important. The most important thing is that. You can actually rank them. You can say, this is #1 priority, this is 2nd, this is 3rd, this is 4th, and then 5th, there's a bonus. Here's the things that we'd like to do, but we don't know if we have the time to do. And people now can come up and when they have free time. Your students will know that if they're not doing anything, they can kind of mosey in the office and be like, what looks like fun today? I'll take that. I'll work on it, I'll bring it back, and I'll do it. What is the most important thing? And if you get stuck for time, that's what you focus on. Batching. Batching is an amazing task. How many of you check your mail every couple days and then it still sits there and you forget to pay a bill because it was under the coffee table or something like that? Mailing is the best example of effective batching. Imagine for a minute that you did one of 2 things. Only checked your mail once a month, or checked your mail and just threw it in a bag and then dealt with it on the 15th of every month. Because you know all bills are due on the 1st. And you know if somebody's sending it to you in the mail, it's not that urgent. You can spend maybe 10, 15 minutes paying all of your bills versus the time waste of getting to open it and being like, oh gosh, registration is due, but oh, I'll deal with that later. Oh, insurance, yep, I'll deal with that later, and then you forget and things like that. So you can be super effective if you batch them together. And what you can do as an office, you know your student schedule, and you can literally allocate a certain amount of time and say Tuesdays between 10 to 11:30, that's go time. That's quiet time for everything else except for attacking the Post-it notes on the board. And you will be amazed that they actually get things done when you have a certain short, aggressive time frame to do it. And how do you determine that time frame? You ask them. So I know you're good with video. How long do you think it would take you to go get 2 testimonial videos and then put it together in less than a minute clip? How many hours?
15.
15 hours. OK. So we need to talk about how we can effectively do this a little bit quicker.
I'm just saying all experience.
OK, how about this? How about this? No, this is good, because I don't want him to spend 15 hours on this. I have an idea for doing student testimonials, but I'm thinking we do Facebook Live. How long do you think that'll take?
A couple hours.
Give it back to me, because we need to talk about Facebook Live. Facebook Live, no, it's OK. Facebook Live is real time. So how about this? How about this? How about this? I'm going to tell you this. Next student that walks in here, ask them if they could do a 30-second testimonial. If they say no, ask the next person. The total video time is 30 seconds. The total batch time is 30 seconds. In under a minute, you can create a video that is a testimonial that you can share next Tuesday. Or you can do it now, and then you can repost it next Tuesday. Yes?
Sorry, I have a quick question about Facebook Live. So we tried to do it, but we can't do it through a page because we're not verified. So are you suggesting that we just hit up some random student and say go live right now?
So what you can, yes, exactly. You can say, hey, we're going to do something crazy right now. Anybody want to Facebook Live this? That would be the case.
Okay. And then have them tag us in their
In the subject that you can do. So you type in the subject using a hashtag, or they can tag you. Then you can they can go back in and edit after it's already done and tag you as well. So it's on the fly. You're like, oh, let's go. Somebody get this. This is hilarious. And you might have a student worker that might be comfortable with doing it, and that would be a workaround with it. Okay. Yes.
What does verified mean? Because I saw that you got verified.
I did. Verified, when you look at somebody, if you look at somebody's Facebook or Twitter, they usually have the picture, they have the name, and then sometimes they have a little blue check mark. The blue check mark means that person is really that person. And it's not easy to get, and it's sometimes mysterious, and people spend years trying to get it. But what it does is Facebook is saying that Ryan Foland account is Ryan Foland. He's not some imposter ginger who's trying to leverage off of the traction that Ryan's getting. When you get Facebook verified, you're able to use this app called Mentions. And Mentions is only for people who are verified, and it gives you the ability as a public profile page to use Facebook Live. It helps you in algorithms, and it basically helps you to get more traction. So if you see, if you're searching for a person, you'll see that person, and then the real person, and then this person, and that person, all within the same name, and there's one blue check mark, and you can be confident that that person is that person.
What's the difference then between the sponsored when you see that on someone's Facebook?
So the sponsored is a native ad. Native means it comes up natively in the person's feed. So if somebody's running a campaign like we're going to be at this booth, they can set a target audience, pay a couple bucks, just a couple bucks for the amount of impressions, and then that post goes into somebody else's feed that is identified as the characteristics that you want for your Facebook ad. So it says a little sponsored thing. It's an actual post. Being verified is an individual or company's account that Facebook or Twitter has legitimately said that's that person. So I'm not verified on Twitter. I hopefully will be some point. But once I get verified on Twitter, then there's all kinds of other things within the platform that will help increase my traction, more following, and stuff like that. It's kind of like the sales reps that get more leads based on the amount of deals that they close. And you have people that are going, well, how can I close any deals if I don't have any leads? Versus the person that's taking every single scrap and turning it into a sale, and then it feeds it. So the platforms feed those people that are getting traction. And you can eventually get there. That's the difference between being verified and a sponsored ad. So we want you all to get verified eventually. And if you're not verified, then you can't use the Facebook Live element from a public profile page. Hopefully that wasn't too roundabout. It's a little complex, but that was as concise as I could get it. Cool? Any other batch ideas? Anyone? Anybody have anything that they do right now in their office that they do once a week or once a month that really helps you out? Yes?
We get student spotlights at the libraries where I literally take 30 minutes and I walk around the libraries and I go,
20 or so, and I'm good for the next 20 weeks.
So 30 minutes invested time walking around talking to students gives you more than 10 weeks worth of content. That's a great example of batching. And imagine the brain damage of every day for 10 weeks going around just trying to get one person. That doesn't make sense. Somebody else had a hand. Yes?
I spend an hour a week doing all of our website updates. So.
And the brain actually takes, according to UCI studies, takes like 11 minutes to switch tasks. So if you're answering an email and then updating your website and doing this, each time you change back and forth, like add another 10 minutes to the project. So can you allocate an hour to do one thing? And I would challenge you, the first 30 minutes of your day on Monday, get a bunch of Post-it notes out and think about the stuff like, this is in an ideal world, I'd love to have a post every single day. And the student comes in late at 10:23 and you're like, what of those do you think you could handle and how quickly could you get them done? You let them answer, you challenge them if it's a little bit off the mark that you expect, and you hold them accountable to that. And then they get excited because it's a small team, they have ownership, and if a student puts together something for you, is there a higher or lower chance that they'll share it on their own? Higher. Don't take the responsibility all for yourself, but take the responsibility to be a leader and batch together the important content that you want, and then let everybody else do the work. Here is my final magic wand for content creation. We covered this before, but we had enough new people, I want to cover it again. It's called the 4-1-1. Everyone say it. 4-1-1. That's not how you count, okay? Let's not get confused. The 4-1-1 is simple. It means for every 6 pieces of content, 4 of them come from other people. That means you don't write it. That means you find it. Study abroad article from Davis, or an article about why it's hard to travel these days, or the 10 tips that Inc. put together for business travelers. It's already there. Find 4 of them. Then create 1 original. Library confession, a student testimonial, a feature on a faculty, a contest, something that is original. And then that allows you the chance to ask for one thing. Participate in our contest. Like us on our Twitter page. Come into the center for a workshop. Because if you are constantly asking people to do stuff, there's a little boy who cried wolf too many times. You might have heard about him. Didn't work out well. So don't be consistently asking people for stuff. But if you have 4 posts, so let's look at this real time right now without Post-it notes. Here's a week. Let's give an example. Who wants to be a guinea pig? Perfect. What are 4? Well, first of all, are there any days that you don't want to post? These are the next 2 weeks. No. Okay, that's cool. So what are 4 either types of articles or things that you think would share that make sense with what you're doing?
Importance of getting your flu shot.
Okay, so when do you want to post the flu shot?
Monday.
Okay, so this is a flu. And what's another one?
Eating healthy.
Eating healthy. What day of the week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. So Wednesday, you can use hashtag Wednesday Wisdom. And there's a manila folder out there. People go type in Wednesday Wisdom and they want to know what the wisdom is for the day. That's the use of a hashtag. So you can say hashtag Wednesday Wisdom. Here's how to eat better lunch today. What's another one?
Fitness Friday.
Fitness Friday. Hashtag Fitness Friday. Fitness. Here's things you can do over the weekend. What's one more?
Wash your car. It rained. I don't know.
Okay. I think that's a little off topic. Okay.
Okay, it is.
But what about some sort of post from UCI?
Okay.
Right? Does everybody get the UCI in the news?
Yeah.
Have you ever scrolled down to the bottom? Do you see what's there? The most popular posts on UCI. So that's a great fishing ground because you can literally take it and just pop it in there. Maybe this is one of the top UCI posts. Just go to UCI's Facebook and see what the top post is or what has traction and then share it. What is one? Now you had the faculty feature, right? That was your thing?
Yeah.
So let's do the faculty feature here on Thursday, and maybe it's also a throwback Thursday, and you talk with somebody about when they came to school and what's been different between the medical school now and then. Okay? Let's say that you don't have a talented writer on staff to do it, but you have a student who can talk. You get the student to contact that person and set up a meeting. You get them to use their phone recorder or audio recorder to say, sir, can I record this conversation because Michelle asked if I could ask you? Sure. Okay, well, here's the 5 questions. When did you start working at UCI? Well, good question. I started back when I was just grass fields. The student's not writing anything, they're not doing anything. Okay, next question. Michelle wanted me to ask you, what's changed? Good question, whatever it is, right? There's a 15-minute conversation. You can take that audio file and you can submit it to a website called rev.com. Rev.com. You don't have to write it down, you know that. You can remember it. It's $1 a minute for transcription. You either, sometimes the audio, I'll share it right to the Google Drive, and I'll just take the Google Drive share link, and I'll send it and put it in. Within 24 hours, you will have a Word document that has student, professor, student, professor, student, professor. Then you get somebody like yourself, and you read over it, and that was a bad question. I'll do a little bit of editing here. It's done. You just have to edit it. So there's a hack of an easy way, because a student could say it takes 15 hours to do the article. You say, guess what? You don't even have to write it. You just have to go record it. Oh. And then when you're done, transcribe it on rev.com. Okay, so you've got, now look at this. This is good content. Now what would be the one thing you'd want to ask people, or one thing you'd want to drive people to? There's a wolf. You get to call it.
What do I want to ask them to do? To follow our page.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. So when would you want to do that?
Tuesday.
I feel like I'm on Price is Right or something, right? And it says, boo. What is it? The master sound effect person. Here's my hut. So let's do it right here. And let's say maybe you can do hashtag Thankful Thursday or something. If you didn't know, we're on Instagram. We'd love for you to show us support there, because this is what we do on Instagram. You could figure this out. It took me and you and everyone less than 5 minutes to come up with this content calendar. Then when Johnny comes in late, you can say, take these Post-it notes and actually hand them out. And you put a little initial of the person there. Then when they're done, they put it back up on the board and they get to do that. And then guess what happens when the next 2 weeks are? You physically let them come in and you let them do one of the most exciting things that they get to do ever, which is, then you set up a little basket, challenge them, say here's the line, and if they make it, they get something special. You just gamify the process of them doing the work that they should have done in the first place. And there's something exciting about crumpling up that Post-it note. There's something nice about Xing it off. And you'll find that certain students are good at certain things, and you can leverage their skills. Know the strengths of your team. Questions on batching? Yes?
So a lot of times I'll have like my calendar set for like the next 2 weeks, and I find UCI I work with the Alumni Association. They have some awesome article on an alum.
Yes.
Is it better to stay current, take that article, move what I have maybe on Wednesday to another week, or should I take that and maybe move it to another day because I've already had my calendar set?
So question is, do I race to make sure as soon as it's posted I'm posting, or is it still relevant a couple weeks later? There's a magical day on Thursday with a magical hashtag that is very magical. Who knows what it is? Throwback Thursday. It's a manila folder with old school pictures and stuff that happened in the past. So you, every Thursday, could have a Throwback Thursday, and you could dig up all kinds of archives and not feel pressure to have it relevant or right now. You can make a comment on why it's relevant now. Or if you're a freshman, you wouldn't have seen this. Here's an alumni that's doing something amazing, you could too. There's content called evergreen content. Is content about the politics that's happening right now evergreen? No, because as soon as somebody wins, then it's all outdated. Okay? I'm not going to go there. From UCI, you have all these amazing posts. And what I would suggest is over here on this 5 spot, if a student has a couple extra minutes of time, say, guess what? If you have 5 minutes of extra time, I want you to scour the Facebook of UCI and come up with 5 of the articles that you actually like and just send me the links. If a student picks it out, it might resonate with them. They're sort of sharing with you what they would like to see. So you could have this whole list, an ongoing list of maybe, to take the responsibility off of you to do it, but give a 5-minute task for yourself. 5 links in 5 minutes times 5 days a week. And you'll have 25 pieces of content. You do that for 1 week, just 1 week, and now you have content for the entire quarter for your Throwback Thursday. You don't have to get anxious because it's posted in 3 or 4 weeks, because it's Throwback Thursday. And then add an old photo to it, or actually search in the archives, go back to 2011 and see what UCI was posting. Right? I mean, that would be the answer to that. Okay? Doing good? Everybody's like, oh my gosh. Wait, he only said to think of 3 that you like and just do 1, so it's going to be okay. Does everybody get the 411? It could be a 511, it could be a 521, it could be a 522, but the basic strategy is share things that are relevant, come up with something that's original, and then you get to ask one thing. Now, what if you don't want to ask anything? That's totally cool, because it makes the next time you ask that much more special. Speaking of science, there's a lot of studies, maybe questionable or not, that have discovered the variable reward phenomenon. If every single time somebody pushes that button, they get the same time, the marginal utility of the pleasure dopamine drip gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But if they hit it one time and they get it, and then they hit it again and they don't get it, and they hit it again, they don't get it, hit it again, they don't, and they get it, and then they'll hit it again. So there's something to be said about it being okay to change things up, but the consistent part has to be there. You still have to have the little lever for the student rats to hit. Not the students are rats. They're like mice. They're cute. Okay? 411. Not to be confused with the 313, which we dealt with. Oh, stop. Don't get frustrated. Compartmentalize. I'm a little late on this slide, but it's okay. All right? Utilizing data effectively. I have data now what? But before we do this, as you know, I always like to have a group exercise with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to batch into little groups. It might be difficult because we can't move the tables around, but there's a nice little couch back there. Maybe you guys can coordinate together. But what I want to do is get together in a group, hopefully with people that you're not too familiar with and that you don't know very well, because this is an opportunity to meet people offline. People still meet each other. It's okay. And then I want one person in the group to be the guinea pig and say, for my department, I'm going to be the guinea pig. And if you get a fight over it, then that's cool. Just hash it out. I want you to all become nurses and prescribe a solution for whether it's a content calendar, whether it's the batching, using what we've just learned here today to come up with an actual strategy. So who said they had no strategy? That was part of their, somebody when they introduced it. It's hard to get strategy. Okay, she's doing her own thing right now. So she would be a good guinea pig in that group. Somebody else would be a good guinea pig in that group. And the idea is this. When I get sick, I don't get sick very often because I drink a lot of water. You should try that. When and if I get sick, and if I would go to the hospital, does the doctor hand me the exact same prescription of the medication from the person before me? No. But a lot of people operate their social media strategy like that's the case. They think that the same pill is for everyone. So what I'm going to challenge you to do is actually prescribe. And how do you prescribe? What does the doctor do? After you wait for a while, then you sit in the room and they ask you questions. Say, well, what are you doing now? What are you having a hard time with? What kind of content do you, what sort of student are you going after? And part of this exercise is practicing those questions. And if you're too embarrassed to go for it, other people in the group will do it. So think of being a nurse that is prescribing a certain solution based on that individual person. And if you're able to do that quick enough, then get another guinea pig in the group. And the idea is going to say, this person has a sickness because they want to do blank. And we've identified this, and now we would suggest that they do the following things. Every Monday morning, well, see, they get to work at 9. So from 9 to 9:45, because they have a standing meeting at 10, like dig in and find out what this person's schedule looks like, and then suggest they need to talk with their department about ordering more Post-it notes. They need to do these different things. They need to get an actual prescription. And then I'm going to have a volunteer from each group come up and say, our hamster had this problem, and here's our solution. It is a 7-step process that you do in 7, whatever it is, I don't care. And then you are going to explain it to everyone else, and there's a bunch of guinea pigs that are going to be like, ooh, that's a good idea. I'm going to use that type of prescription. Okay? So let's get into groups. We're going to spend about maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll give another 5 minutes or so for the person that's going to come up and do it. And I want you to think of these different things. Could they use a social media contest? How would that work? Could they use a content calendar? How would that work? Could they go to the library, because you know there's people there, and film for 30 minutes and get enough content for a week? And then what do you do with that content? So the idea is not to be overwhelmed, but it's about setting kind of a step-by-step process as a prescription, right? Here's a prescription box. Do this 4 times a week. Do this, do that. Sounds good? And there's more coffee, and I'm sure some more bagels and stuff like that if you're hungry. Let's go. So today's contestants will be coming up and sharing their prescription for a guinea pig that they met with who has problems with social media. Ladies and gentlemen, our first contestant who is going first, hashtag welcome her with applause. There you go.
All right, so I'm Ellen with the Blum Center.
Wait a minute, time out real quick. Before you start, I want you to shamelessly plug yourself and your company, because again, this is an offline strategy that I want you to get used to. If you see up back behind here, selfishly you can tag and follow OVPTL, myself, UC Irvine, OVPTL, myself, Irvine. So this is just a general thing. If you have an opportunity in front of people, do that. So shamelessly plug yourself as you have a chance to. And let's, from our video crew, what's a good backdrop? Here? Right here? Okay. So you can introduce yourself, and then you can say where people can follow you. And you guys have an opportunity to take pictures and share and say, wow, she's such amazing, or take the one thing from the prescription that you really like, and then you can write it down now and tweet it later. Hashtag Throwback Thursday. All right, go for it.
All right, so shameless plug can start now. I'm Ellen. I'm from the Blum Center for Poverty Alleviation on campus. So our main outlet is actually on Twitter. You can follow us at UCI Blum Center. And basically we are looking to reduce poverty locally and globally. So working with students, working with research to accomplish those things. Our group, we decided to diagnose Christina from the Campus-Wide Honors Program. And the issue that she was facing is with trying to build Instagram, she wanted to take photos from the past, so photos of alumni to try to engage alumni, but she was having difficulty with having permissions, right? So she wanted to make sure to contact those people and have permissions. For contemporary photos, she has waivers that the current students have signed, but for going back into the past, she doesn't have permissions from those old photos. So we were kind of talking about batching and having Post-its so that she can assign and delegate to one of the student employees in the office, so that for an hour a week she can give them a pile of pictures and try to identify the people in those photos and ask the students to contact those people. Reach out to them, say, hey, we're working on sharing these posts. We found this picture that we love that you're in from, 1993. Is it okay if we post this on our social media? And that way she's not having to deal with that task. She's able to pass that workload to one of the students to get the permissions to post the pictures.
Wow, good prescription. We had batching in there, we had offline tasks, we had online tasks. Brilliant. And a shameless plug. But with the plug, you forgot to say what the Twitter is.
I believe I did. UCI Blum Center. Yeah.
Just making sure. Applause for our next, hashtag applause for our next contestant.
My name is Lee, and I'm the director of the UCI Plus One program, which is a brand new program. You haven't heard of it because we just launched 3 weeks ago. And it's with the Division of Continuing Education, formerly known as the University Extension. So our intervention, because we were a group, was to help Tina, who is with nursing and wears multiple hats, working with alumni, donors, or advancement, and really trying to build a following for her social media. And having some very aspirational goals as far as getting followers. And the struggles that many of us have with getting content. So one of the things I admitted is that in most meetings that I'm in where there's other, with my colleagues, 70% of the time my brain isn't there. And so what I suggested that she do, since she's got her colleagues there, is give them all 3 to 5 Post-it notes at the beginning of the meeting and say, look, By the end of this meeting, I just want things that I can promote for you that's coming up. So what events do you have coming up? Give me some names for student spotlights, faculty features, some interesting tidbits, and I'm going to collect them and follow up so that I can help you with our social media, and it's kind of cross-pollination. And you've got that content on the Post-its right there. So a bit of batching, a bit of content cultivation, but really kind of helping to get the word out, and you don't have an extra meeting on the calendar. The bonus is asking them if they have a student worker that they can spare for 15 minutes to kind of help with putting the flesh to the bones of these programs or announcements. So that was our thing.
And we're back. That was amazing. We had batching. We are using 3 Post-it notes at a time because that's how far we can count. In your next meeting, come with Post-it notes, put 3 in front of each chair, and then ask them to come up with stuff that would help them. I like to talk about the selfish hat concept. It's an invisible hat, and you all are wearing one at all times during the day. And if you can help to identify what somebody else's hat says, the selfish hat that you can't see, and they help you to determine what it is that they need help with, and then you say, well, I need help with this, and now you can help each other and get items knocked off. So think of the selfish hat. And that was a great idea, using 3 Post-it notes. And I think we have a special guest here, an actual doctor who's joined us today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dr.
Nurse David.
Dr. Nurse David.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I am Dr. Nurse David. I had the privilege of interviewing our patient, Ellen, from Pharmaceutical Sciences, and she has a very dire diagnosis. So she is looking to engage her alumni that have graduated from her program in the last 2 or 3 years or so, because her program is relatively new, and so her alumni base is small, but they want to reach out before, it grows a little larger. And so as a result of that, we first needed to, fix the immediate problems at hand. And one of the first problems that she had was that she didn't even have a LinkedIn page for her department, and especially in pharmaceutical sciences, that's necessary because they're thinking about careers in medical school and just in general. And so LinkedIn would be a great place to start, especially if you're looking to help them in their careers. And so we first wanted to cover all the social media bases, LinkedIn being a good example. After that, the priority was figuring out what exactly these alumni want in as far as help and as far as tips and tricks so that they can proceed in their careers. And so whether that's and really how they want to get engaged with their with the university, even though they've already graduated. And so we thought of the idea of doing a polling contest with them. So we have a poll that they could take in order to kind of determine what exactly they need or what exactly they want from the university that can help them in the careers, whether that's coming back and helping other students, whether that's learning about different things that the campus is doing as far as faculty, et cetera, and then going from there. Once we have those bases covered, we can really start to branch out and reach out to them. And so we wanted to prioritize personalized reaching out to alumni and making sure that they know that they're needed and wanted, because if they have a shotgun approach and we want to make it more of a general email to all students, they're not going to want to get engaged because the bystander effect comes into play, right? And they don't want to get involved. We also thought about maybe doing a tips and tricks from graduate series, where after we reach out and get them involved, we can have them come back to the university and give tips and tricks to the students that are already in or that are currently in the pharmaceutical sciences program and go from there. And also we thought about having a Throwback Thursday idea for students to kind of talk about their time at the university, what they wish they knew when they were going through their undergraduate program, as a way of, again, kind of giving our current students tips and tricks to help them through their undergraduate careers. And so those are just a couple examples of prescriptions that may or may not work for this dire diagnosis, but we're hoping that it can get them started.
Yay! And how many hours will this take?
This will take
15 hours! 15 hours! All right, so as an example here, I clicked on the Facebook Live, so I'm Facebook Living as we're here at the Social Media Brunch, and this is a Facebook Live selfie. Yay! Now I want to share with you something that I just noticed, and this is how cool social media is, because it's always changing. I saw this little button up here, and I clicked on it, and now I have a chance to use filters. While I'm live, there we are, we're all green. Okay? So this, I did not know this existed until just now. So I believe that the black and white is cool because this is very serious. We're talking about prescriptions for sicknesses. But talk about batching. If somebody's already doing something and you can throw a camera on it, then now you can throw a filter on it. So put your hands together for Dr. Nurse David and our next contestant. Come on down.
Hi everybody, my name is Leela and I'm here with UCI Nursing Science, so follow us at uci.nursing-science on all of your social media outlets. Our patient we interviewed today was, was Lorraine Harris. Lorraine is our program assistant here and she has absolutely no experience with social media. She doesn't own her own pages and has not used it in the workplace as well. So she was our guinea pig for today. Being that she had no experience with social media, we decided to prescribe her with the 411 social media vaccine. and with that, we thought that that would be a great beginning for her to utilize that technique. So we came up with 4 ideas where she can use other outlets to use 4 other ways or articles or items to post and get her started. So one of the 4, these are the 4 ideas that we came up with. She was going to find an article on office safety because some of the problems that she runs into is students and sometimes faculty and staff not adhering to the safety rules and policies that are for our building here. So she's going to find an article on office safety. The next one is she's going to find a photo from our great shakeout that we just had to post on social media. Then she's also going to post a picture of the Burke Hall safety rules and policies here. And then the 4th item is she's going to do a throwback Thursday of one of our issues that one of our buildings here in UCI has had to show what could potentially happen if you didn't follow these rules and safety procedures. Our one original content that we decided we're going to have her come up with is our students are going to do a parody video on safety where they become the people enforcing these rules and our faculty will be the ones that are breaking the rules to show that safety is important in this building. And then our one contest that we were going to do that we came up with was having partnering with EH&S, figuring out one of the crazy safety things that happened in the past and pairing that up with 3 other crazy things that might happen anywhere and figuring and having a contest where students can go on and click which one they think actually happened here at UCI and then giving a prize of a $15 gift card to Starbucks just for getting the right answer and throwing that into a raffle. So 15. But we can do it up to 50 depending on, you know, what we decide. But that was our prescription and our way for her to get over her social media non-experience. Disease, yeah.
All right, so one tip for Facebook Live is to end on a solid note. And what she was talking about was the 4-1-1 strategy. 4 pieces of content for that are other people that you're sharing. 1 piece of content that's original, and then 1 that's a call to action. And together we're all going to say, but this time I think it's going to be green. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to say 4-1-1, and then I'll shut it down. Okay, so I say 1, 2, 3, you say 4-1-1. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
4-1-1.
And cut. Wait a minute, this is awkward because I haven't cut, and that looks funny. Exit, finish. It was not as strong as I wanted, but it's okay. So editing video gone live, and now it is a live post.
Well, that's excellent. I'm very pleased with it.
No, you did a great job. You did a great job. Okay, and I like it. It's public. I'm going to post it. And then I can go back and I can tag everybody eventually. See how easy that is? No. But you can download it and you can repurpose it. But the whole thing is like, I mean, I really wish I could have edited out the microphone thing in the end. It was awkward, but I didn't, and it's okay. It's okay. All right, our final contestant here, bring your hands together for hashtag our next guest. Don't forget your shameless plug, and even if you're not taking a picture, make it seem like it so she feels the pressure.
Okay, so yes.
Hold this down a little bit, yeah, there you go.
Okay, So I'm Shariba. I'm the Donor Relations and Communications Assistant at the libraries. And we, the libraries, are the gateway to knowledge on campus in case you haven't found out. We provide access to information and research resources for students, faculty, and just community learners. Tag us on Instagram.
Where do you find you? How do you find you?
UCI Libraries, at UCI Libraries.
All right.
Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest.
Anything today, we learned shameless plugs.
There you go. Yes. Tag your stories. Hashtag #ZotSmarter. Okay. We have a lot of hashtags. Okay, so our patient today was from nursing, and she is a work study student, so hands clap for work study students who are doing social media. So her dilemma is to promote an info session for a new nursing degree. And there was already an info session that took place. They'd like to get more attendees to this second info session. So that is her goal, is to increase attendance and to do it through social media. So part of her, other part of the dilemma was to how to share this next info session without seeming spammy. So without just continually to repost the same event flyer as they did before for the first session and for this new one. So how do we make old content new again? Some of our ideas were to collaborate with other departments that would be of interest to help them and partner up. The next is to create original content, make the event seem new by posting testimonials of students who've gone through the program or are going through the program as a way to engage people and get people to come to an info session so that they can do it too. The next was to content calendar. So we talked about a little bit about the content calendar. She's already got 4 of posts already set up. We talked about specifically what posts she can do for her original post, as well as the ask. The ask is obviously come to our second info session. The original post is the testimonial that she will do to partner up with departments as well as do an interview. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. What else? We're good? Okay, that was it. It was short and sweet.
Now, if I can get all of our doctors up here, we're going to do a little quick voting to see who gets the juice and who gets a Post-it note. Come on back up. It's okay. Come on back up. Hang on. Well, he might get one, but there's some other ones. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, he's putting it on. This is a good photo op right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you were going to take a photo and tag people here. All right. I'm going to put this down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and we have 3 juices and 2 Post-it notes. So step up a little bit so that I can walk behind. Okay. So now you are going to be voting with your applause. You look forward like a costume contest. I am not here. And then what I want you to do is the louder you clap and cheer, the better of a solution it is for the guinea pig. And okay. Sir, you might have a problem with a battery that's low. Here's your solution.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We had a major cheer over here. Okay. Now we have a running tie for these 3. So you go over here and you 3 come in this way. Okay. Okay. On the count of my hand. Here you go. Here you go. Wait, wait, wait. Here's a Post-it note.
Oh, yeah.
And then here's a stack of Post-it notes.
Oh, there you go.
Good job. A pen, too. A pen. So hopefully you learned a couple things. One is that you all have a lot to learn from each other. It's not about just a single authority or a single figure. There's best practices that are constantly out there, like filters on Facebook Live. Oh my gosh, you all should be green with envy, but you were green. Take any of those solutions and help to figure out how it's a prescription for you in your office. And again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's this person has a specific event to a specific market that they need to get people to. How many people? What are we going to do? We don't want to cry wolf, and we don't want to spend all day on it. Going back to this perfect example of spending 30 minutes to create weeks of content, I want you to start to think about that. And it's anybody's game right now. So it's just a matter of being creative, thinking a little bit outside the box, and that makes it sort of fun. When we have fun, we usually try to collect data. And if you've either boothed, or if you've met people or tagged people, there's all these different ways to collect. How many people collect data? Okay. How many people know what to do with data? Okay. Even if you know, we want to talk about this for the next few minutes because it's of high value. So let's look at the ways that we collect. We got some boothers. Here's how we gather data out there in the world. Boothing, we meet people at events. You can come on down if you need. That's okay. If you didn't sign up, by the way, there's a sign-up sheet. That was all timed. How many people have card swipers? How many people do not know about card swipers? Card swipers are amazing. I don't believe it costs much, if anything. And you contact OIT. It's a very small amount. And they set you up with a system. You have a little card reader, plugs into any computer. And when students come in, you just can ask that they swipe their card before they enter. That's a great piece of data. You can find out how many people come. You can pull all these reports. You can find the majors. You can do all this crazy stuff. And that is of value because then you can start to hone in on your target market. Right? You can see the different types of people that come, how frequently they come, and that's maybe where you find your testimonials, those people that come most often. Yes?
Oh, so you get their email addresses?
It depends on the amount of data that your department is allowed to have. It's connected with the registrar, and so you can request, we would like to know their gender, we would like to know their major, we'd like to know their GPA. Sorry, can't have that, right? There's different things, but you work with John Dewey or whoever it would be at OIT, and it's a really cool card swiper. You can take those card swipers to outside events. You can hook them up to an iPad or a tablet, and you can take information that way. I just want to let you know it's out there. Yes? You have a tablet that has a Wi-Fi connection, and you can plug it in. Sometimes,
What card are they swiping?
oh, their ID card.
They're like,
Their student ID card. Student ID card.
So they still have to be UCI.
Yes, I believe they can use a driver's license, and it pulls minimum data, but it depends on how much. Yes?
So the Alumni Association actually uses this for sweatshirt pickup, and it was really great because we got to see exactly how many students came in, who came in, get all of that data. It's really quick. They just swipe it, got their sweater, and was out there. So it made it really great, especially with thousands of students coming in.
Yeah,
So.
it's a great thing if you don't know about it to just learn a little bit more about it. Because the more you know about who you're trying to attract, the easier it is to attract them based on where they are, what they're doing, their habits, and whatnot.
Does that go with employee IDs
I believe so. You can actually go manually enter IDs and things such as that. It's all set up customized. And the only challenge is sometimes it takes a while for it to set up because OIT is sort of backed up. But I would think if you just send oit@uci.edu a ticket saying, this crazy ginger talked about a swiper, I need some help. And then they'll help you through it. Sign-in sheet. A quick tip for sign-in sheets, if you're looking for emails, already have filled in the @uci.edu. It's a very easy sort of thing. Also, when somebody fills, like, where's the thing that's being passed around? This?
No, this is
Okay, that's fine.
pretend.
So look at how sloppy this is. You can't even read it. This happens all the time. Yeah, I'll give you my email. So when you do it at that moment, be like, so is your name Sion? No, it's Ryan. Okay, Ryan. Sometimes I'll leave a lot of space so that I can actually write down the real name afterwards. Okay? Your data is only as good as you can read it. Other ideas? Anybody have any other creative ways of gathering content? Or, I'm sorry, gathering data and emails? What about using social media follows and likes to check in? BT dub, how many people have checked in today? The check-in for the social media is like our pages if you haven't liked them. Why would you do that? Because we constantly give 4 pieces of shared information, 1 piece of original content, and 1 thing that you can do. Imagine having a room full of 200 people. Instead of a sign-up sheet, you have an online check-in. The way we want you to check in is by following us. Here's why you follow us, and here's our platform. Like, you could spend 5 minutes with that shameless plug. There's a lot of ways to collect data. It doesn't just have to be the old paper. When I'm helping students learn how to booth, here's a series of questions that walks people right into it. Do you have a phone? Yes. Do you have it on you? Yes. Do you have reception? I don't know. Let me see. Are you on Facebook? Yeah. Search OVPTL. Now they're just following directions. If you just say, follow us on, no, I'm sorry, no, I don't have my phone. If you literally just conversation like, do you have your phone on you? Yeah. Do you have reception? Yeah. Are you on Facebook? Yeah. Well, why don't you follow us? Okay. It can be that simple, right? And then you actually say, let me see it just to double check. And then they show it to you, right? And you go, oh yeah, that's it. Here, go. Okay. Again, it's just a way to have an offline sign-in sheet that you don't have to have any paper, and it can be like, hey, get this piece of swag if you like our contest post. It's tagged. It's the pinned tweet. It's something like that. But yes, if you haven't followed us, you can follow us, and you should. How do we get data into a system? How many people use Excel, offline Excel? What now? Okay, so there's a DREM tool. That's with the questions of others. Number 3 that you can't see because I put it in white ink. How many people use Google Docs? Okay, if you are using an offline spreadsheet, I would highly encourage you to look at moving it onto the Google platform. UCI uses Google platform, so it's a simple step to set it up. You don't have to use your Gmail. Don't use that as a stopping point saying, well, I can't log in with my UCI email address. You can. You just have to ask OIT to help you set it up. But it's centralized. Every time you touch it, it saves. You can give it to 4 different students at the same time to enter data into it, and it lives in one spot. So if you're not using Google Sheets, it's a very good way to keep a shadow database on file. Organize what you do with the data by what you want people who you're contacting to do. Again, this goes back to some of the most basic marketing principles. I have data. What do I want to do with it? I don't know. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to join your contest? Do you want them to follow you on Facebook? Do you want them to walk into your office? You have to know that destination first. Because you can send out a newsletter, but unless it's selfishly sent for a reason to help you out, it doesn't make sense, and it will just come across as non-valued. Let's see. Do you want them to engage on social media? Do you want to raise money? Money. Money, money, money. Money.
Huh? Sorry,
I just thought that was a good keyword right there, right? So you want them to raise money. Yeah. She was just tweeting out a picture, I'm sure. If you want them to attend events, and if you're looking for them to, I am looking for students to blank. Fill in the blank. It's a really good exercise. Verify with your students. If I did this, would it make you want to do that? There's a lot of just root psychology in what you want people to do, and it's not magic. It's just science. Okay, what to do with the data? How many people have a newsletter? Okay, how many people are intimidated by a newsletter? Okay, you can still do a newsletter and be intimidated by it. Data from the registrar. There's an opportunity to go to the registrar to ask them for certain data on students that are either current or that are past. And I don't know if, Michelle, if I'm able to share your approach with the registrar, so I left it off, but is that concept inside property, or is this something I can share? You can share. Their target market are people who graduated, not people who are current students. So the incoming freshmen, they don't care about right now. They'll care about them in 4 years. They went to the registrar and said, you care about them very much. And you are going to nurture that relationship in 4 years. They don't care about them as much as, say, their mother or father. But they care about them deeply. So the concept is they went and they said, we want all of the students that graduated 4 years ago. And they worked it, and they got it. They have 5,000 pieces of data that now are their target client. But what do you do with them, right? So that's kind of the concept here. You can create a newsletter. You can use data to engage on social media. Those are names. You can go see if they're on LinkedIn. This is a big alumni play, right? You can tag people. Again, top of mind tagging, TOM. You can tag people in a photo. You can tag people in different things. This is part of the CHP strategy. Call them, figure it out. Reach out to them. You can send them an email. You can create a LinkedIn group and invite them to a special LinkedIn group for nursing alumni. I'm working with Dean Denon right now. He's had over 40 lab assistants in his career work in his office, and he has a spreadsheet of them. So we're taking that spreadsheet, we're finding them on LinkedIn, and we're inviting them to a private Michael Denon, I've worked with you before, and I want you to help progressmycareer.com. And this is something that is valuable for them. It's not spammy, and now he has 40 of his best friends that will help him as he gets older. They stay young, and then they can help each other. Okay? And if you're not following Michael Denon on Twitter, you should. Denon Michael. We've got him from 150 followers to almost 1,000, and we can get another 20 here, shamelessly plugging. Got that, Denon? We're looking out for you. Facebook group. Facebook groups are a great way. You can invite people in, and it can be very targeted information. It's not blasted out publicly. But I just want to spark the idea of what do you do with this data, because so many times you get the information from the Anteater Involvement Fair, and it sits on the desk, it doesn't do anything, and then now it's sort of outdated, and it's slower, and then you don't know what to do with it. Okay? Even taking the emails, putting a nice collage picture together on Twitter or Instagram, and then sending an email to everyone saying, so nice to meet you today. Here's a picture from today's event. Remember, if you need help, here's a link, here's a link, here's a link. It'd be lovely if you could share this post. That definitely increases your footprint on campus when normally the notepad gets thrown into the box and then you move on with your life. Data, do some stuff with it. Creative uses, searching for people, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, tagging people. More creative ways, physical mail. This is interesting, right? Send something to the kids' parents, or just you have a mailing campaign. I know some departments are using that to raise money. Money, 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 money. Pick up the phone. You can actually call people. Send a text message. People actually read texts. It's crazy. Partnerships. That was a lot of the prescriptions here today, so I'm glad you guys came up with that. See if you can convince somebody to put it on their social, and you just set it out beforehand. Like if I get an email saying, can you help share this? I'll email them back and say, I'd love to share it if you send me exactly what you want me to say with the links. So all I have to do is copy and paste, or put it on a Post-it note on my content calendar, and then stick it into the hands of somebody who's at a 3 out of 10. Template for, newsletter, MailChimp. I used to be a Constant Contact fan, now I'm a MailChimp fan. It is free. You pay once you have contacts. But you can build a template, export the HTML file, and then you can share it through Zotmail. You can create a template, export it, and send it through Zotmail. And then you print a physical copy of the newsletter, you put it up on your wall, and you work with your students with Post-it notes on what next month's stories will be. You assign the Post-it notes, you give the Post-it notes to the students do it, they come back, they put it up with an X out, and the students build your monthly newsletter. Like I physically do that. I print it out and I have Post-it notes. And it's kind of cool to have this like a physical newsletter on the wall with all these Post-it notes, and then you can stack them up and people can at a glance review what's going on. Again, it's not extra work, it's just working smarter. And Zotmail has a low open rate, but it still does get out there. People still are looking. Questions on that?
I do have like a general question. Like everything that you're talking about are in the scenario of like project management, assignments, all this strategic thinking. Is it owned by like one person who like, because I feel like, well, this is speaking from experience right now, is that we're kind of scattered. So I guess the first order of business is for us to all meet together to like assess what our social media pages are and what strategies are and what the different constituents are. But is it require like one dedicated person to eat, live, and breathe like social media? Who's managing this whiteboard? Who's making sure the whiteboard, like the Post-its are being taken off there, assignments are being like, who's time project managing that things actually flow?
To answer the question, one of the things I like that I heard was getting together as a group to figure that out. Yeah. Because different resources and different departments are different, and certain people are tasked with social media, but maybe they are not in charge of it because it is scattered. So having a discovery meeting, and you say it's a 30-minute meeting, don't let it go over and you'll get more done in that time frame. Brainstorm it, say who wants to sort of pioneer this, or better yet, use that 30 minutes to come up with the entire month's calendar as a group. Yeah. And then it's a matter of having it centralized on a board and implementing it as a daily activity for students to walk up and go, what can I do, what can I do? The biggest misconception out there is that you can just hire a millennial, put them in front of a desk, and then they will fix or work your social media. They are good at using tools and figuring out how to use things, but they are not going to create a strategy.
They still need to be told what to do and what, like, the content needs
They need to have direction. If you say, come up, go find 4 articles that have to do with safety, they can do that. But if you sit back and assume that they're going to come up with that, it doesn't work. So using something like the 411, you can easily put guidelines together, and you're talking about a month. So maybe you have a monthly meeting and you empower some of the students on a smaller team to do that. And they're good at the physical post. That's the hard part. The hard part is posting it, making sure it's spelled correctly, making sure that the photo is the right whatever. And so taking from a management level, take yourself out of the weeds, and then you can help to assign that. That would be it. So meet together and say, let's spend 10 minutes to figure out what we're doing. Let's spend 10 minutes up on the board, and the next 10 minutes, let's just not do anything. Okay? This is our strategy. We have a funnel where all of the different content is up here. It comes down where we decide, is this good for the dean? Is this good for OVPTL? It comes down and we syndicate it on the different platforms, and we search using hashtags to pull in content. So if you want to have your stuff be seen, we always search every week for hashtag UCI DUE. Throw it in there as a hashtag in a manila folder, we can find it, and if we share it, then we share it. And there's an internal and external audience, but we're just aware of that. Celebrate small victories. Find the 3 things that you like, find the one that you can do, start simple, get fancy later. Before we go, my shameless plug, find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram. I guess you can Facebook me now that I might have to do more of that. But I love to share hacks for business, which is applicable to you, and all kinds of stuff like that. Don't tweet while you drive. Yes?
At the Mirage thing, you announced the Flickr tag.
Yeah.
Where you guys put
Yeah, so if you search Flickr, OVPTL, Flickr is a photo sharing site. We've gone out, we have over 350 photos of the campus that you can use royalty free, and we're going to try to do that and grow that. But they're good for quote cards. And finally, let's do a group picture, because anytime you have an event, you do a group picture, and then you hold the property, and then you tell people to go find it and share it, and then it creates engagement. And a special shout out to our film crew back here. Look at them, point at the camera. If you need UCI media help like this, super professional, you just show up, they mic you, you do your thing. If you have a guest speaker, if you have anything like that, it's an amazing piece of content to put out. Last question, yes? So reach out to us and find more information online. You can get us on Twitter or Instagram and Facebook. And for more information on the OVPTL and UCI media, how we can help you with your social media strategy, go to ovptl.uci.edu. This is Ryan, and I am signing out.